It's the 23rd of December. Hope everybody's doing well. In studio, we have Trinity and Hunter as always. Justin, getting all the cameras set up before he goes back. We have Dr. Devin, my son-in-law, Faye's husband. We have Tom. And Tom, how do we say your last name again? Herrick. Okay, cool, Herrick. I remember I had a friend that was Harris, so I remember Harris, but ick on the end, so Herrick. There we go. And then the one, the only, Christy Flynn here. She's gonna be coming on after. She'll be doing some question and answer with the cookbook stuff that way. So today, guys, we're gonna cover, a lot of people wanted me to cover this again, so I'm gonna talk about, say, elderberry, but let me explain why we're gonna do it. We talked about elderberry a couple weeks ago, but remember, elderberry has a significant amount of research when it comes to it. And I wanna talk about this, okay? Elderberry has been used for thousands of years. And the cool thing is this, they have some meta-analysis now that supports elderberry's use to prevention, treatment of respiratory infections, including COVID-19 and influenza. So I had a buddy of mine this morning that's a pharmacist talking about there's been a lot of infections coming in lately. Now he relates it to something that they give people, but we'll stay away from that right now. But just to let you guys know, we want people to understand that we have so many things that you can do to protect yourself. So remember, elderberry is very of most upper respiratory infections like COVID-19, and they did a meta that way, but it's also even known as anti-inflammatory. So guys, right now, elderberry should be taken. This is probably one of the very few herbs I have that doesn't taste like somebody peed in your jar, okay? So that's the best part about it. So we have Hunter, we have Trinity, we have Christy, and we have Devin looking for questions. And remember, I usually repeat the questions because I have TikTok here on my own phone right there. So if you do have a question, I'm gonna repeat it. That's why I'll interrupt the girls as if it's a long one, I'll say the sentence over that way. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have for questions today? And we're only going to go for about 15 minutes. And then we're going to have Christy come up and chat with you guys for a little bit that way. So what do we got for questions so far today? Here we go.
What can you do for pneumonia?
What can you do for pneumonia? Well, first of all, make sure that you don't have a bad infection where you need an antibiotic, because you might need a steroid or antibiotic. Remember, if you're asking me, that means you're probably not in an extremely severe state where you need hospitalization or major medications. So number one, I would do this, is I would look at doing things that vasodilate the lungs. And therefore, I'll also do this. I want to remove some of the fluid. So OSHA, no, not the government organization, OSHA, it's a nerve, OSHA. I would also nebulize with silver, okay? I would get into a sauna, an infrared sauna. Go as deep penetration waves as you can. The heat will do a fantastic thing. And then what I do is actually take as many antivirals, like especially elderberry, and then echinacea.
What causes a B12 deficiency?
What causes a B12 deficiency? There can be things called pernicious anemia, where you have some GI problems where you can't absorb it. But there's one thing that really affects B12 deficiency the most. It's called hypochlorhydria. Most people, once again, do not have enough stomach acid. And do you understand that even with most minerals, you need a high acidic medium for its absorption? Happens in the first part of the duodenum to where you absorb most of your minerals. And also B12 especially. So hypochlorhydria, you need good stomach acid, you need other factors that are going to allow you to absorb it. You got to make sure you don't have a lot of GI problems. And on top of it, also remember this, most people do not realize this, you get your Bs from decent meats. So if you don't have enough proteins, you usually have some B12 deficiency in the first place.
I have a fluttering wave of pain in my hip.
Have a fluttering wave of pain in your hip.
I Googled and it said it's related to emotions and traumas. How do I help this?
She Googled it and it could be related to emotions and trauma. Of course it can. A lot of people don't realize, and I will say this when it comes to women, men are a little bit different, but most women's pain is actually emotional. It really is, okay? And that's okay, it's understandable because it's a somatic kind of visceral response to a lot of emotional things. But are there physical characteristics? Yes, you can actually have some illnesses that can relate to pain, even structurally in the hips. You can actually have some uterine problems. You can have some ovarian problems. So make sure that you do not have any physical attributes that are wrong that can contribute to pelvic pain. Make sure you don't have any structural things. So is it all emotional? Absolutely not. Can a bunch of it be emotional? Absolutely it can.
What do you think of yacon syrup for people with blood sugar issues?
I do like yacon syrup a lot. I think it's got a great taste. It almost has like a brown sugar taste. You can put it in your coffee. It kind of gives you a little mocha taste there. But it's a very good starch that keeps your blood sugar. It's actually on one of my top 5 sweeteners that I do like. And it's great for baking. Great for baking. So I love Yakum syrup.
Do you need to avoid all of your IgG allergens, or can you eat them sometimes?
So here's what happens. You know, people ask, should you avoid your IgG allergens, or can you have them once in a while? So here's what I want you to do. Just about once a month, I want you to smash your foot against the wall. You know, just once a month. You understand? Because not going to break your foot. Swell up a little bit, but you'll get through it. So here's what happens. Don't eat your IgGs ever. Not to get retested.
Thoughts on infrared saunas?
Thoughts on infrared saunas. I was in 2 days ago, well, more than 2 days ago, yesterday. Gonna work out, go in there tonight. I think infrared saunas, and this is the bad part about apartments, this is the bad part about, you know, not having space, bad part about saunas take up space, they're expensive. I think that they're one of the very few things I think they're essential, but once you buy one, they last forever.
1 year post-viral infection.
1 year post-viral infection, are they talking COVID?
I think I'm suffering with PPPD with
Yeah, PPD, yep.
dizziness feeling.
Yep.
They don't say what it was.
So you're
but,
still immunocompromised? Yep.
exhausted and
Yep,
tinnitus
exhausted and tinnitus, yep.
that never went away.
Yeah, you're still, so you got through the virus, but you had a sufficient enough immune system to make sure that you didn't die or have anything really tragic, but you were still immunodeficient. Okay, where to start? It's repetitive. Number 1, sleep. Number 2, no sugar. Number 3, you need to take turkey tail, you need to take reishi, you need to do your medicinal mushrooms, you need to do echinacea, you need to get an infrared sauna, you need to jump on a vibe plate, move, make sure your lymphatics, get a massage, do something to move your lymphatics. But more importantly, you probably have some secondary infections, so I'd be getting a viral panel, an immune panel, and also a stool test done.
What are your favorite Christmas treats?
One of my favorite Christmas trees, ones that have multiple color lights.
Treats.
Treats.
Oh, treats. I said trees. Okay. Treats. That's kind of funny. All right. I'm saddened this year because all of my trees around here have white lights on it, and so I'm making the team go after we're done as soon as holidays. They're gonna buy 5 more trees that have colored lights and stuff on there. So, because I like all the multiple lights.
Hey, we have colored ornaments.
Yeah, colored ornaments still not the same. Lights are what make the tree, not the decorations and stuff. That's just me.
I think we need to make a full post.
My favorite Christmas treats. Something with chocolate always has to be there. You know what I'm saying? You know what we haven't had? I didn't even think about this. I can honestly tell you, as a kid, I used to sneak these from my grandma's. She used to put them on our stairs because it was cold. Is the old bird nests. Remember the old bird
Yes.
nest things?
Yep.
It's like,
The bird nest.
we gotta make some bird nests. Those would be
Okay,
fantastic.
I was just thinking about that.
So anything with chocolate would be good and crunch. That's why I like bird nest because it's got a little crunchy to it that way. I'm not a Christmas cookie person. I'm really not. I think they're too boring. Cheesecakes, really good cheesecakes. That's what I'm gonna have a Happy Belly say. Rebecca, thank you for texting me back and being open today, even though you usually close on Monday. I'm gonna go down and get some, amazing gluten-free. Not dairy because I do really well. I do well with dairy. I had some Greek yogurt. I love dairy. Love it. Devin shits his brains out if he does it, so he can't do it that way.
I can't leave the toilet for a day.
Yeah, he'd be like, "Oh, someone's in here," from the toilet in here. So if he was on dairy, I would honestly say I love peppermint. So I love candy canes. I love them. I can sit there and just suck on them forever and just, I love little peppermint mints. I know I'm kind of weird, but I just like those things. Something simple I don't need. But now I'm hungry for bird cages. I'm gonna get those done. So okay. All right,
Bird
Trini,
nest.
get on that. All right, what do you got next?
I have an infrared sauna.
Love it. You got the infrared sauna.
How often should I use it and for how long?
Half an hour daily. You saying I'll be in there for probably 35 to 40 minutes. Depends how hard Devin and I work out. And thank you for all of you wonderful people. Realize that I have really nice shoulders and my shirt off and stuff like that was kind of nice. All the compliments I got from it that way, guys and girls, it's kind of fun. It's like yes, I'm always wearing big clothes and stuff like that. So thank you for that because it's really funny. I watched people. Me and Devin were working out there today, so we took a picture and posted it and stuff like that. I'm like, man, not only am I a genius, I'm also pretty muscular. So
Oh, good Lord.
it's pretty fun.
Why do doctors tell you to not take supplements 2 weeks before surgery?
Why do doctors tell you not to take supplements 2 weeks before surgery? Because it's important not to. Because here's what happens. So I agree with that. I agree with that statement that you shouldn't take supplements 2 weeks before because here, I want you to think of it this way. Usually when you take some decent supplements, your blood gets thinner. You're less inflammatory. So when they cut you open, they're worried about you bleeding out. So they don't want your blood so thin. But under that care of the doctor, you had thick inflammatory blood already. So I agree with that. I really do. Because if they cut you open, you might bleed profusely and they got to not take their chance. So I agree with the doctors when I tell people that. Okay, what's next?
Hi. Oh my gosh.
Hi.
Hi, yes.
Repeat the hi again.
No, it's not. No. Had my gallbladder taken out.
Had your gallbladder taken out, sorry.
Now I have to stay close to a restroom at all times.
Well, okay, go on. Now you have to stay close to the restroom all the time.
Is there anything I can do to not be in a panic when out?
Absolutely. Get your intestinal fix, and you can actually take some GI support to help emulsify those fats and not have the transit time so quickly. I would be taking some form of ox bile, take our gallbladder complex before each meal. Get back, you got some infections and allergies you need to deal with because that's why it's passing through so quickly. And it's really sad that you had to have your gallbladder removed because there could have been things done way before that.
Is elevated copper in the third trimester of pregnancy normal?
Yeah, it's kind of normal because remember, estrogen levels change. Remember, copper and estrogen have a very synergistic relationship that way. So obviously, when you're pregnant, all normal values are thrown out the window. So having elevated copper isn't that much of a concern.
Also, does low ferritin cause elevated copper?
No, low ferritin does not cause elevated copper. What I do is get some more red meat though. Do some more red meat. You'll have better ferritin levels. Hello, someone said here on TikTok. Thanks for jumping on, guys. Bunch of people on here. What else you got?
Do you recommend taking CoQ10?
Do I recommend taking CoQ10? No. Okay. Now, should you take CoQ10 if you have liver problems, cardiovascular problems, you don't eat enough red meat? Yes. But see, here's what happens this. I'm hoping that most people would eat things instead of take things. Someone just said here, do you recommend NAC? No. Number one, NAC is very synthetic, okay? NAC does not exist in nature. It has to be metabolized by your body. You can't really eat NAC. You can eat NAC foods that convert to it that way, like avocados and other things. Because right now on TikTok and Instagram, it's a big lie. They're lying to you. It's the fountain of youth. Have you guys seen that bullshit? It's like there's no one nutrient that's the fountain of youth. You know what the fountain of youth is? Stop being sick. Stop having high oxidative stress. Stop eating so much sugar. Stop doing all the bad things that way. I mean, I'm 50 and I'm absolutely gorgeous. My skin's amazing and stuff like that. But you know why? I have great skin. I take care of it, And it's like, yes. Did you see my shoulders on that picture? I mean, just gorgeous. Saying the skin, everything about it. It's like Merry Christmas to me. All right. So, and I'm trying to have a little fun and a little humor with the thing of this way is like, but we got to get away from the concept of taking things. I take things, you know why? Because I don't take enough potassium. I don't eat enough of it. And so therefore, and remember, I know it's really funny. I may not pay what you guys pay for it because I own the company, but it still costs me money to actually buy the potassium to put it in a capsule. Okay, so it's not like it's free. All right. So, what do you recommend for digestive issues past gallbladder removal? Number one, stool test. Number two, food allergy test. Number three, make sure that you take some form of ox bile before each meal. And therefore, what I want you to do is actually get some labs done, and you got to clean up your digestion. Got to go carnivore for at least a couple weeks too. Okay.
Is infrared and steam sauna the same?
No, infrared and steam are very different. I would never go in steam sauna. It's even hard to breathe. I don't recommend steam saunas at all. With infrared out, guess what happens? Steam saunas shouldn't even exist.
What do you recommend for bad smelly gas and bloating?
What do I recommend for bad smelly gas and bloating? There is an overgrowth of bacteria or parasites in your intestinal tract, and you need to get them dealt with and stuff. So what I start with this, number one, betaine hydrochloride before each meal. Betaine hydrochloride before each meal because it'll acidify your stomach, and acidifying your stomach now leads to a better GI. And then I'd take some form of probiotic because people don't realize, I get sick of all this generalized crap here out there. Cancer can't grow in the acidic medium. Actually, it can, like crazy. And you understand that the vast majority of your GI has, when it's actually trying to keep its microbials under control, it's acidic. Let me see a question, guys. Anybody here ever have a runny nose, a sniffly nose? Do you understand it burns? Do you know why it burns? It creates acid there to break down any protein, aka virus, trying to come in. That's why it burns. You say, I'm burning when I'm peeing. Yep. Guess what happens? You're trying to deal with a virus or bacteria, and it's trying to destroy what's there. So yeah, does it hurt? Does it hurt? Your nose hurt? Yep. When you pee, does it hurt? Yep. But body's very smart.
What can I do for sore muscles, especially thighs?
What can you do for sore muscles, especially thighs? My first thing is potassium deficiency, magnesium deficiency, not enough protein in your diet. Those three things would be susceptible, and too much sugar consumption. What do you got next?
Hypothyroidism.
Hypothyroidism
And low estrogen.
and low estrogen, poor
and
lady.
low progesterone.
And low progesterone, very poor lady.
And loss of period because of chronically elevated cortisol.
And loss of cycle because of high cortisol. Yep, understand.
Any foods that she can do to naturally support those hormones?
Any foods, yeah. Get over 120 grams of protein to start per day. Now, does it take a lot more than that, than just protein? Absolutely it does. But if you look at some of the habits that you need to do, I would definitely, you need a lot. You do. You do me a favor. Email me. I'm going to give you something free. Email me at pflynn@thewellnessway.com. Email me at pflynn@thewellnessway.com. I'm going to send you a care package to get you in the right track because you got to be suffering pretty badly. So here we go. 6 weeks pregnant and morning sickness is getting me hard. What can I do for it? Calcium lactate powder. You can pick it up from any grocery store. You can pick it up from a health food store. And aloe juice. Calcium lactate powder and aloe juice. You can take it 5-6 times a day. Chrissy, when she was pregnant and these girls were disrupting her and making things, she took it constantly through the day. After you gave your mother morning sickness, you did. And stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? So calcium lactate powder and aloe vera juice, the organic one. Hey, Cindy Crawford just joined. Said it on here. It's kind of funny. Anyways, all right, got time for 2 more questions, then Chrissy's going to take over.
Can a leaking appendicitis be repaired without surgery?
Can a leaking appendicitis? Yes, can. Okay? Because once again, if you're asking this question, yes, you can. Because unless you're in an acute stage or in the hospital, you might be in trouble. But yes, you can. Okay? Start by acidifying your stomach. Start by, you have to, and go carnivore for 2 weeks. You got to give your system a big time rest. And then see by, your pancreas deals a lot besides blood sugar. It actually produces lipase and other digestive enzymes that are important for you. So you need to give your body a break, but you don't want to starve. So that's why you go carnivore, which is kind of almost in a way, if you acidify your stomach, giving your GI a really good break. It's the best elimination diet there is. All right, one left.
Chronically low free T4, normal.
Chronically low free T4, so it means your thyroid's hypo, iodine deficiency, needs some ashwagandha. What else?
Normal free T3.
Normal free T3, so you got good conversion within your liver.
And TSH on armor thyroid. What would be the cause of a low free T4 even with a medication
I mean,
increase?
there's no immune process. There's an immune issue. There's an immune issue if you have all those thyroid issues. And thank God you're taking Armor. That's a very smart doctor that put you on that and stuff, because now you don't have to worry about. But I'd actually, just for time, I would ask your doctor if you're still a little low on T4, because T3 is the most important, but T4 needs to be normal. Have them give you a little bit more. Talk to your doctor about that. And then take some ashwagandha, take some selenium. I need some selenium. And then what I want you to do is then call one of my doctors. Speaking of that, guys, our No Sugar companion book sold like crazy. It just came out on Saturday. Sold like crazy on ADP. So guys, remember, get our No Sugar companion book. It's actually, and I have to say, my daughter's here, and she did all these wonderful pictures, our new professional photographer here, and stuff like that, and that. And also, just to let you know, Trinity has her photography business. She's been doing everything. I won't let her do weddings because I don't want her to do with any freaking bridezillas and stuff like that. And I'm a partner with Trinity. Trinity's my partner in the business. She actually has, Daddy's smaller. Daddy always gets chunky, I'm saying, so it's kind of funny. I paid for all her stuff. And that's her thing. But no, she also produces wonderful decorations. She does things like that. So if you need a great photographer, she does travel and does wonderful things. Oh, you got some idiot on here. It's always about money with this guy. What about money? There's always some moron and stuff of that. So he's probably a Joe Biden fan and stuff, or Kamala Harris fan. So, dude, just tell me your
Sits white
back status, and then we can talk.
Sits
I love
white
this. I'm gonna take this from Aaron Rodgers. If you have any problem with me, tell me your vax status and tell it to everybody else, and then you can see you have zero credibility and stuff of that. But yes, so Trinity is actually, and he's probably poor too. Who's this guy? I think his name is Karen. It's not a joke. I think it's actually Karen and stuff on there.
His name's Kevin.
Kevin, same thing. And actually, no joke. If he's watching me right now, that means he has no life, and that means, oh, he's fat too, and stuff like that. So, yes. He probably has no job, makes no money, takes a lot of selfies of himself that way too, and stuff on there. So.
How
yep.
cute.
What's that?
How cute.
cute. And stuff like that. Well, I hope you have your day off and you make no money and stuff like that. And yeah, anyway, it's kind of
Oh,
fun.
good lord, he literally,
Yes.
his, everything is
Yes.
just selfies and picture of himself.
Yes, I get it. So, I accept people.
And his
Everything's about money as you're giving away.
Yeah, everything about money. If I give
this month.
$100,000, thank you for reminding me. Everyone has to give $100,000 away of stuff for people in need and to help people like crazy. And I do it.
Give
I
away
probably
free stuff.
donate more money, Kevin, to places than you make in 10 years and stuff like that. I'm not saying to brag. I'm saying I do. I'm very proud. See, I said I'm very proud of what I do for a living. Very proud of what I do for people. I give massively. I help people when they can't be helped and things like that. I've actually made more millionaires, people helping them get wealthy and do the right thing and do it honestly and stuff like that. So very proud about that. Merry Christmas to me. All right. Christy, coming up.
Biden fan, get your booster.
Yeah. He gets booster?
That's what someone commented.
Yes, thank you. Yes. TikTok, give
Loyal
Kevin some
fans.
messages that way. What's that?
Loyal fans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just what happens. So it's like, all right, guys, everybody else, Christy, jump on there. I'm going to jump on here. See you guys later, TikTok. Right? No, oh, you need this one. There you go. Go. There you go.
Thank you. Hey,
Hey,
everyone.
Devin, we gotta take it off.
I am back. Oh. Stop my phone. Sorry about that. Hi, everyone. I am Christy Flynn, co-author of From Scratch. Can you help me with this? That is the women's page. So, how many of you have bought our new cookbook? Oh, there we go. I'm back. Hello. Hi, Tina. Okay, so From Scratch, our cookbook. It is completely gluten-free. And it's basically our journey. Dr. Alex Fennelly and I, we've both been on Wellness Way journeys. We're both moms. We both have families. We both work. I was stay-at-home, but I still worked. It's our business, right? We're always involved. But basically when realizing I had to eliminate a bunch of different kinds of foods, you have to think about food differently. You have to think differently about the ingredients. You have to think differently. I mean, baking, that's a whole nother experience, right? I know I have a lot of friends that are like, I can't bake. And I'm like, I think you can. It's a science experiment. So I think the trick is you can't bake and, I mean, now, grandmas who've been doing it forever, they can just throw stuff together and they don't have to measure. When I find something that works, I stick to the measurements. And I'm telling you, that is the trick if you're nervous about baking. Unlike my daughter, Trinity, who likes to just throw stuff together and then it doesn't necessarily work.
Hey, it comes out.
It comes out now. There were years and years and years of it. But that's how you learn, right? But the beauty of it, if you're wondering, I know that's the biggest question that we get is how to do gluten-free baking. And I'm just telling you right now, there's not a whole lot of gluten-free baking in this one. In our future books, this is the first of a series. There's a whole lot coming. So, but this is family favorites. These are a lot of, I mean, as you can see, there's meat. We have healthy fats, healthy meats, veggies, and then the desserts are raw desserts, things that if you don't bake, it's okay. You don't need to. But it's all about getting those nutrients in. Do we have any questions at all?
Not quite
Not
yet.
quite yet.
We do have somebody saying that they are going to purchase it today. What is something that they can do if they are purchasing today?
I'll put this up, the QR code. Oh, it's backwards. Oh, it's backwards on this one. I have to turn it around. Flip. There. Nope. I don't know how to flip it on there. I'll show this right here. That is the QR code to be able to purchase our cookbook. We actually, Dr. Alex Fennelly and I, we put together a giveaway of care, 12 months of care for one lucky winner who, 3 things you have to do. Purchase the book between now and, well, it was the 13th and the 31st of December. Follow us on Instagram, so fromscratch.cookbook on Instagram. You'll follow us and then find the giveaway post, and you want to tag 2 of your friends, and you'll be entered into that. We've had a bunch of people who are signing up and who are purchasing cookbooks. Thank you. We appreciate that. But we're really excited to figure out, like, put your names in a hat and draw the winner, and we'll let you know in January who wins that. But definitely take part in that if you're interested in getting a cookbook. You can get more than a cookbook. You cannot be a current patient of the Wellness Way in order to be entered into that contest.
What kind of flowers do you recommend?
That is a really good, okay, what kind of flowers do I recommend? It is a great question, and it kind of depends on your health goals. So definitely, I mean, obviously we say gluten-free. So what flowers to use? You can go to the route of using nut flowers. If you are going to use nut flowers, just know that the consistencies that you're going to have, the results are going to be different. But that doesn't mean you're going to lack on flavor. You can have something taste really good and it just kind of doesn't look very pretty. But who cares, right? It still tastes good. A lot of times there's a blend, right? There's blends available. Bob's Red Mill has a bunch of blends. There's the one-to-one. There's the Red Bag, which has no rice flour. That's the one we use a lot of because we ended up with allergies to rice at some point. Those they work really well. Just always remember to look and see if the blend happens to have xanthan gum. Now, what is xanthan gum? Xanthan gum is something that, because when you're working with gluten-free flour blends, you need to replace the gluten. The gluten is the thing that kind of sticks everything together. So if you've ever had a baked good, a cookie, something, and it just kind of crumbles and falls apart, it's because it doesn't have gluten, and they didn't necessarily replace it with something. So xanthan gum, make sure that you put some in there. On the back of a bag of xanthan gum, it actually tells you if you're making this. So if you're like making your own blend of flours and starches, it'll tell you. If making cookies, add this much xanthan. If making bread, add this much. It'll tell you what to kind of add to it. But I know that King Arthur has a gluten-free blend that also people have been saying works really well for doing things, as long as you can do rice. I mean, as long as you can do that. I like to use sorghum, millet, what's in it?
Almond,
Almond
coconut,
flour.
occasionally.
Okay, I mean, yeah, we'll do some. I go through a phase where I'll do all almond flour. You've done oat flour kinds of things as well.
Rice flour.
Rice flour. I mean, if you want like a blend that has rice flour is your typical blend that you're going to use, and it does produce really great results as long as you're not allergic to it. So that's fine. Tiger nut flour. That was something that I experimented with. Was it a couple of years ago? I was like making everything with tiger nut, and it works. It's great. It's kind of equivalent to almond flour as far as consistency, and it's just a different nutty flavor. So kind of cool. Quinoa flour will give you a little more oomph as far as protein, but it has a little bit of a aftertaste, like a nutty, it has to be a certain kind of thing. So keep that in mind. If you make something and the flavor's a little off, it could just be the flavor of the flours that you're using. Rice flour is pretty neutral. That's why a lot of people like to use it.
Can you show the QR code to those ones over there?
Yes, I can. Is it in a good spot? Do we
It
have-
is.
Yeah, okay. Okay, hopefully that's good.
They're also wondering if you could flip through and just show like maybe a couple
I
examples.
sure can, from the cookbook. If you
Yes.
want the table of contents, we actually have that. If you go to the page to buy from scratch, so the wellnessway.com/cookbook.
Yes.
Yes. And go through there and hit order your copy or purchase or whatever, and you go to the order page, we have the table of contents right on there. So, okay, how do I do this so that the more people can kind of see?
Yeah.
It's full
Maybe
color.
Just show it to those two.
These two right here. Okay. So we have little keys. You can see the little keys up in the top corner. So for a dairy-free, if it contains nuts, egg-free, God bless you. These are the legendary pancakes. That's probably one of the oldest recipes that we have besides the ranch. But they're like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful cookbook. And there's a nice variety of different foods we have breakfast, snacks, desserts, sides, mains. Yeah, it's a nice variety, but it's a lot of our favorites, the ones that we use the most often. Although I do have to say that my daughters were like, Mom, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? I'm like, I can't put them all in the cookbook. So that'll be for the next one. Like I said, this is the first in a series. So, any other questions?
What is your take on sourdough?
Oh, sourdough. For anyone who has been on the women's page, you know that I have a sourdough baby. This baby,
Sammy.
we're gonna chronicle. I'm gonna grow another one from scratch, like just to kind of show people like what it looks like, what's normal and whatever. I just had to do it myself the first time. My sourdough baby's name is Sammy, and Sammy has his nights and days switched right now. Sammy's a girl or a boy? I don't know.
It's kind of in between.
So you have to, if you do it from scratch. So I'm doing my sourdough starter from scratch, just like you would do and it's gluten-free. So that's the key thing. Regular gluten, it works really easy and really well. With gluten-free, it's a little temperamental, but once you get it going and you stay persistent with it, I'm telling you, like it's amazing. And I'm doing mine without rice. So most people will do it like a blend of, like they'll start with rice as the starter, and it works really, really well and really easy. It's just literally flour and water and the fermentation process and making sure that you're getting rid of the bad bacteria. Like it's a growing process, right? So I'm doing mine with sorghum. And I've learned that there's certain sorghum flours are like finer grain and some are not as finer grain, and like depending on which brand you go with, it kind of affects it differently, and how hot your house is or cold your house is, and like all of the different details that go along with that. I was telling some friends earlier this morning because last night, as Trinity can attest to, right? I had fed my sourdough baby like early on so that I had starter to be able to start the process of making bread for today. And it's a process, right? You have to feed it and then you have to set it aside, let it grow. And well, so I fed it, but I didn't feed it with the intent of it growing. And it like more than doubled in size in only a couple of hours from the time that I fed it, which means like, whoa, you're like alive and awake at the wrong time of day. So it's kind of funny. It's like having a kid. A baby. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Interesting fact about when you're making your own sourdough starter. So sourdough is basically you don't use any yeast it creates its own based on the bacteria that are in your home. like your natural bacteria that are in your home. So there's good bacteria, bad bacteria, right? So this whole process, like within the first 2 weeks of like, you're like feeding it, discarding, like doing this whole thing, and you're getting rid of the bad so that the good overtake the bad. And like, so it's all about like the smells and what it looks like, and it's a whole process. Like I said, it's like having a baby all over again. But I will be kind of chronicling that. I'm in the process, like I said, of kind of getting used to the whole thing. As far as when you're going to make something, then like, okay, what is the timing of that? So I know I went into a little bit of a long thing, but it's what I'm experiencing right now. It's super fun. We've made a whole lot of things. We made 2 things of bread. We've made
Biscuits.
the biscuits turned out amazing. That was like a total, like, I just kind of threw together, remembered how my grandma used to do stuff. And they even had, you know, like the Grand's biscuits with the layers and stuff. Well, that's what it turned out to be. It was kind of fun. So we did that. We had, now the whole reason, just have to tell you, the whole reason I started doing sourdough, the gluten-free without rice sourdough, first of all, so my whole family could enjoy it. Second of all, I wanted cinnamon rolls for Christmas morning. So we're kind of building up to that, which is kind of exciting. But that was the whole point of doing it.
Is this cookbook helpful if you have a lot of food allergies?
Is this cookbook helpful if you have a lot of food allergies? Well, we avoid a lot of different things, and a lot of the recipes in here are versatile, like where you can kind of pull things out really easy, replace things pretty simply. A lot of the sides, especially the meats, again, remember, if you're allergic to certain spices, just don't use those certain spices. We really encourage people to use fresh herbs and get creative with seasoning, because I mean, really, it doesn't have to be complicated. So if you have a lot of food allergies and you take some of the hints and some of the tips and recipes as like, hey, this works, let me try, you know, okay, I'm gonna swap out this one thing. And that's where we come in handy as well. Ask us questions, you know, reach out to us, find out like, hey, so I have these allergies, and that's actually what we're doing on our show From Scratch, which is on TWW+. Like, to be able to, if somebody has a question about how to convert their recipes, like something that they used to make when they were younger or with their families, to say, okay, we can't have this, this, and this. Is there a way to do it? Well, we will try and see if there is. There's usually, it's not, sometimes you won't get that same like texture, or it won't be completely the same, but it would be relatively similar so that you can enjoy some of the foods that you enjoyed at one time again.
What's your favorite breakfast without eggs?
My favorite breakfast without eggs. Oh, I'm a meat lover, so I love, I do sausage, bacon. I love that sweet potato hash, that heavenly hash that's in the cookbook. Being able to just throw a bunch of veggies, saute the veggies together, and then throw the meats on there. Oh, love it. The pancakes are another favorite. Again, it's a family favorite. We've been making those pancakes forever. So that's another one. And the pancakes are completely dairy-free, egg-free, gluten-free during a time when those kinds of things, like cooking like that, was just not something that people did. And so it was a lot of fun having friends over, and they all loved it. So.
All right, we got one more question, and then I think we can wrap it up. Would you say these are simple recipes? I get overwhelmed with recipes that have a lot of ingredients.
Would I say these are simple recipes? A lot of the recipes are simple. Like, I mean, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4 4 ingredients. Here's 4 ingredients. I mean, a lot of them are relatively simple. So when you're making certain sauces, or if you're making something, like for instance, there's a few of them that have a bunch of steps to it. Well, then there's going to be more ingredients, you know, and we're trying our best to get it. Remember, we took, you know, like for instance, like some of the marinades and things like that, they're going to have a lot of ingredients because it's all about flavor. We're just throwing in a lot of herbs and seasoning to create that flavor palette for that particular item. So it's not intended to be complicated. Like the dessert, that layered dessert, you can make it as simple or as difficult. And you're not difficult, but it's just more steps to it. It's not hard. It's just different steps. So you can make it, you can pull it apart and make it simple. But for the most part, the sides, the mains, a lot of these, like I showed you, there were a bunch of examples of a relatively small amount of ingredients. And as far as the steps, I mean, yeah, there are a couple that have a few more steps. But, you know, then save those for making when you have somebody else to be able to help you if you need that. They're definitely worth it, though. A lot of these are all about the flavor. So those are definitely worth making. I hope that that helped you. Thank you. Thank you for buying a cookbook if you already have. If you haven't, you still have time to be able to be a part of our little giveaway for free care with Dr. Alex Fennelly. Jump on the store, jump on my Instagram, jump on our From Scratch Instagram, click on the link, buy yourself a cookbook. It makes a great gift for somebody who you don't know what to get them and they want to become a little bit healthier. This is such a great step in the right direction. Have a very Merry Christmas and a healthy holidays.